Cash is king, but can your bank account handle it? Ever wonder if that wad of cash from a big sale is going to clog up your ATM or send your bank into a frenzy? Yeah, me too. Especially when you're a small business owner on the go, dealing with customers who might prefer the convenience of cash. So, you open a business account, all excited to ditch the shoebox full of receipts and finally go legit. But then a question pops up: how much cold, hard cash can you actually deposit into this fancy new account? That's where things can get a little murky. Traditional banks often have weird limitations and fees on cash deposits, which can be a real pain. But hey, that's why we're here today. Let's dive into the world of Tide business accounts and see if they're the cash deposit champions they claim to be. Unveiling the cash deposit mystery with Tide. First things first, Tide positions itself as a small business banking hero. Their whole motto is about making your life easier, and that includes managing your cash flow. So, do they live up to the hype? Here's the good news: there's no hard limit on the amount of cash you can deposit into your Tide business account. That's right, you can walk in with a suitcase full of bills, assuming it's not suspicious activity, of course, and they'll happily process it. Now, before you grab your money bags and head to the nearest ATM, there are a few things to keep in mind. Cash deposits, not always free and easy. Remember, free lunches are a myth, and that applies to some extent with cash deposits. While Tide itself doesn't impose a hard limit, they do charge a small fee for processing large cash deposits. Here's the breakdown. Deposits under $300, free and easy. No sweat, just deposit and go. Deposits between $300 and $1,500, this is where a small fee kicks in. It's a flat rate, so the exact amount won't break the bank, but it's worth keeping in mind. Deposits over $1,500. For bigger deposits, Tide encourages you to schedule a courtesy cash pickup. This is a free service where they'll actually send someone to pick up your cash, saving you the trip and ensuring a smooth transaction. Now, the exact fees for deposits between $300 and $1,500 can vary depending on your specific Tide account plan. They offer a few tiers with different features and pricing, so it's always best to check their website or app for the latest details. Beyond the fees, security and best practices. While the lack of a hard limit is great, there's also the question of security. Walking around with a lot of cash isn't exactly ideal, and depositing large sums can raise eyebrows. Here's how Tide helps. Scheduled cash pickups. As mentioned earlier, this free service minimizes the risk of carrying large amounts of cash. Schedule a pickup, and a Tide representative will come to your location for a secure transaction. Fraud protection. Tide offers fraud protection features to monitor your account for suspicious activity. This gives you peace of mind knowing your hard-earned cash is safe. Here are some additional best practices to keep in mind for large cash deposits. Paperwork. Be prepared to provide some documentation for large deposits, especially if it raises red flags. This could be sales receipts, invoices, or anything that clarifies the source of the cash. Keep records. It's always a good idea to maintain good bookkeeping habits. Document your cash deposits with receipts and keep them organized for tax purposes. The verdict: cash king with a, mostly, free crown. So, can Tide handle your cash like a champ? Absolutely. With no hard limits and the option for free secure pickups, Tide goes the extra mile for small businesses dealing with a lot of cash. Of course, there are those fees for mid-range deposits, but they're relatively small and might be a fair trade-off for the convenience and security Tide offers. Ultimately, the decision depends on your specific needs. If you're a small business owner who regularly deals with large amounts of cash, Tide is definitely worth considering. Their flexible approach to cash deposits, combined with their other business-friendly features, can make your financial life a whole lot easier. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.